So usually when the US decides to go and murder somebody overseas, it goes without criticism by the other major powers. But occasionally you get the UN to come in and have some official declaration of how barbaric it was. So this story is that, just as a preface. The US drone strike that killed Iranian General Qasem Soleimani in January was unlawful. A United Nations investigator specializing in the legality of execution said, and my arm is already getting tired. The U.S. justified the killing of Soleimani, head of the Quds force within the Islamic Revolution Guard Corps, by arguing an attack on U.S. troops was imminent, but never produced evidence of the plot. And Agnes Callamard, the UN Special Rapporteur on extrajudicial summary or arbitrary executions, said investigators found nothing to support the claim. So we made the claim that we killed this man who was the head of this Islamic group, or the Islamic Corps, because he was apparently spearheading an attack on the U.S. that was imminent. But they found there's no proof of this. So Calamard said the U.S. also violated Iraqi sovereignty by conducting the drone strike near Baghdad International Airport without Iraq's permission, which is a war crime. No evidence has been provided that General Soleimani specifically was planning an imminent attack against U.S. interest, particularly in Iraq, for which immediate action was necessary and would have been justified. She wrote I actually thought this was a man, wow. She wrote in a report set to be presented to the UN Human Rights Council, of which the U.S. is not a member. I wonder why. The attack, she wrote, violated Article 2(4) of the UN Charter, which bans the threat or use of force and calls on all members to respect the sovereignty, territorial integrity, and political independence of other states. U.S. claims that an attack against a state actor in the territory of another state was an act of self-defense are unprecedented, Calamard wrote. The killing of Soleimani was the culmination of years of escalating Washington-Tehran tensions, which is tensions between the U.S. and Iran skyrocketing, dating back to the Trump administration's 2018 withdrawal from the 2015 Iran nuclear deal, and brought the two nations to the brink of military conflict. In retaliation, Iran launched missiles at an Iraqi military base housing U.S. troops, killing none but injuring more than 100. So I just wanted to do this story because people have this thing where when you criticize the U.S. for what it does overseas, you're told you're not patriotic, you're not being I guess, pro-American. But, I mean, the U.S. has nothing to gain from killing people who are in positions of power just because they're in a position of power with respect to a country that we're antagonistic toward. I guarantee you, if it had been the U.S. killing some member of the Israeli government, everybody is, in every political commentator that's on TV, and most of the politicians would be losing their minds. They would say, oh my God, we need to get rid of this president. How could he do this? This is terrible. It violates Section 2 of the... I mean, they pick and choose who they want to care about the demise of. And as long as you're not a part of the governments of Israel or Saudi Arabia, they have at it.